Hey, welcome to the Really Charlie podcast. My name is Charlie Perry, along with my host, Paula Young, and our guest today is Amanda Light. It's all yours, Paula. Go ahead.
So, hi everyone. Thanks for joining
Amanda
us.
Faith, I'm sorry.
Yes, I was just going to say, wow, Charlie, you're already messed up. So,
Hey,
hi
I
everyone.
did it.
We wanted to introduce Amanda to you. Amanda is a angel mom like myself. She has a beautiful son by the name of Luca, who is now her guardian angel, as I have Andrew. He is forever 13. And I actually met Amanda in Washington, D.C., when I was there for the special congressional hearing on CCP. So, with little unbeknownst to Amanda, she is now attached at the hip for me for life. And I think that our boys definitely had something to do with this because she is a powerhouse. And I'm so appreciative that she is here. She is here from from California, the West Coast. So we appreciate her taking the time to be here with us. Amanda, we'll leave it up to you. You can talk about Luca. You can talk about what you've been doing. You can talk about the hearing, anything you'd like. Many times people will ask us questions, and of course, you'll see them in the chat, but take it away.
All right. Well, I'm Amanda Faith. And just so that everybody knows who we're talking about, this is Luca. Luca was only 13 years old. He obtained what he thought was a Percocet from a dealer on Snapchat. Unfortunately for all of us, it was a counterfeit tablet, and Luca was found later that day alone in his room. Since then, we had an 11-month investigation. And during that time, I wasn't allowed to go to the news or any of these things with Luca's story because, frankly, the district attorney was the first one going after a homicide for a drug-induced death in our entire county. So I had detectives early on tell me that no one would walk into the room of a 13-year-old and say, just another addict. And I use the quotation marks because that was the detective on my son's case. So I began the faces of fentanyl poisoning, and I began compiling thousands of photos of victims across our country and making awareness videos to point out that their fentanyl affects everyone. And from there, it's just been a really, really long run. I've been at it for about 3.5 years now. Luca died in August of 2020. Just shy of turning 14, and the day before he would have started 8th grade. So I hounded our DA and all of our investigators for 11 months, telling other parents' stories before I could tell my own, and working with media, all over the world. The first news broadcast of Luca's story was actually in Sweden. It wasn't even in the United States. And from there, we've been in People Magazine and Dr. Phil and any number of news broadcasts, but we've started a lot of town halls for local people and helped them get their organizations together to do so, because fentanyl awareness is a comprehensive approach. Sorry.
So Amanda, if you don't mind, why don't you, and that's if you feel comfortable, because I always ask my parents first, why don't you tell us a little bit about Luca? Because he sounds, it's like I can feel his energy.
Yeah.
And take your time. Take your time.
Luca was a different kind of kid. He and I were very, very close. He was my rainbow baby. Tried for a very long time to get pregnant with him. And, you know, so there were 6 years in between my kids, and, you know, as such, they didn't get along the best. So it was he and I. He was sort of my road dog, you know. We did a lot of things for the community. When I was a child, I suffered homelessness for a time. So Luca really honored that, and we always did things for the homeless. When he was 5, he had the idea to throw his first toy drive. We were getting ready to move to Hawaii, and I walked into his room, and it was a disaster, you know, and I'm packing and all this stuff, and his birthday's coming up. So I asked him if he would mind if I had all of our friends and family bring gift cards or cash or the like, and he could replace his toys when we got to Hawaii, because as it was, we were going to have to give half of these toys to little kids who didn't have any. And he's put his little hands on his hips and he said, "But Mom, why don't we get new toys for the kids that don't have any?" And my heart just split open. Luca was my hero. I had to figure out ways to
I think she's frozen, Charlie. You're muted.
All right. I'll keep an eye when she comes back on. Down off stage. I keep turning my mic off because I have a house full of people, a whole lot of little people in the house.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But as we were hearing from Amanda, and I'm texting her now.
Yep.
You know, 13.
Yeah.
13. And so full of life, thinking of others before himself. And again, a pill. And this is the reality. And I think that one of the biggest things is that this is what people need to understand that continues to happen.
Yeah.
This is the reality of fentanyl crisis. This is the reality of what's happening. The reality is, and I say this all the time, we talk about this, Charlie, is over 300 a day. Someone made a comment not too long ago, and the comment was, well, you know, I don't think it's as bad as what you're making it out to be. And unfortunately, this is what you're hearing more and more, to where it's kind of sickening and disparaging how people can make that comment when you have more and more articles coming out and more news reports of the fentanyl poisoning everywhere, including with the marijuana being laced. So I think, at what point are we going to understand that this is a crisis of a magnitude that no one has ever seen? And I know someone said to me, Paula, maybe they just don't know how to handle it. And I truly believe that, but that doesn't mean you can't talk about it and bring forth awareness.
Yeah. It's you may not know how to handle it, or it's and if you don't know how to handle it, then that's the first sign that you need some help. And
right.
And then you should, you know, as friends and family or people that are concerned about people's mental health when it comes to dealing with stuff like this, you know, we should all speak up, and because some people are not aware of what they're going through, right? And sometimes some people have to point it out, maybe one friend, one family member, or several people point it out to them so they can get that help, and just be and just to help them so they can be advocates for themselves, you know.
Well, it starts with the family. It starts with, again, you know, at the family table, like Roy has said, And we've had Roy on, and I think we need to definitely have him again, because he made it very understandable to everyone that it's not walking into an agency, although that does help. It's really starting in the home front at the dinner table, at the table.
Exactly. I see Amanda's on studio, but she's not. Her camera's not.
Your camera's not on.
So, good evening, Michael. How you doing, Joey? How you doing? Thank you for joining us here on Fentanyl Facts and Stories.
Can you click out and click back in?
I really, I appreciate you, Michael. That dude on YouTube. That kind of, I love that. I love when I have viewers. Paul and I love when we have the viewers on YouTube. It's just another platform. So, let's see. All right. Let's see. All right. I just it's OG Paul. What's up, man? How you doing? Right, Paul. Appreciate you, man. Nice. Thanks for joining us. This show is on every Wednesday, and it's Fentanyl Facts and Stories. And Paula and I, we like to talk about many things. So you're aware of different things that are going on in the world when it comes to fentanyl and opioids and all the dangers. So.
And I just saw Paul go, and I just saw Paul's comment. Paul, here's the problem that I can say to you, that unfortunately what's happening is these strands of fentanyl are getting more and more stronger. So now it's carfentanil, and it's another form that they have that the DEA just put out. And unfortunately, Narcan is not working. So that's what they're now doing. So now they are making it to where when you try to use Narcan, it is no longer working on bringing that person back. One of the things that I was told by a paramedic is to actually start CPR on the person, regardless of the Narcan, because that might help to actually bring the person back and sustain them in a way that Narcan does, where it reverses the effect. And I didn't even know that. So I was appreciative that the paramedic did tell me that, because that's something that we need to know. And I see that he's working with the health department, and that's great, because it's when you're doing advocacy, a lot of folks will say that they want to get the word out and want to help. And unfortunately, that's not always the case. So we have to keep doing what we're doing. We have to keep putting the awareness out there. We have to keep talking about this. We have to keep letting all of you know the numbers, because unfortunately the numbers are not getting better. They're getting worse. And again, the DEA continues to say that they cannot arrest their way out of this. We are being infiltrated right now at the border with people who are coming in who are of Chinese nationality, and they don't understand why that's happening, but it is. And I can say to you that, again, just be aware. Be aware of what's going on. Pay attention to what's happening. Pay attention to what's going on around you, because the bust that happened in Lynn, Massachusetts, which I'm sure everybody knows about, which was a couple months ago now, where the candy was shaped as a heart, that was enough fentanyl to kill every single person in our state. That was just someone who was living right next door in a nice neighborhood, and no one even knew what was going on. Yes, lives are being saved with the help of Narcan. That is true, yes. And that is something that we will always say and never take away from that fact. But at the same time, the awareness still needs to be out there to not do any drugs and to not go out and do anything, because of the fact that we don't want you to not come back.
Yeah.
Because that's what will happen with all the street drugs today, as you know, Charlie, because that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, it's But I'm so glad that we do have something out there, and Narcan is definitely something that we need to keep on the streets, because having nothing is going to be more tragic than not.
Oh,
So
absolutely. Absolutely. And someone said to me the other day, well, why carry Narcan? And I said to them, I said, well, consider it like, your fire extinguisher in a building. You don't use it every day, but if you need it, it's there. It's the same concept.
yeah. Paula, if Amanda wants to call that number on the screen,
I
we can
just
put her
text
on
her that.
speaker. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can try that.
Yeah, I just texted her.
Oops, here she comes. I think. Yes. All right.
Education and awareness. Yes, Paul. That's exactly what we've been doing.
Yes.
Oh, good. Amanda's back.
You guys can hear me now.
Yes.
We can hear you, and you disappeared.
You can see me in just a second. There we go.
There we go.
Charlie, you have like a what is that? Echo.
Yeah.
Okay, better. Oh, no.
Okay. Is that better?
So Amanda, why don't you continue your story? You were talking about Luca. And I know
somebody has something.
Yes.
Something's on, like on Facebook or something.
It might be my the one you were speaking out of views, Charlie.
All right.
So Amanda, why don't you keep talking about Luca and for those who are just joining us, Amanda is a mom like myself from California. She lost her son Luca 3 years ago to fentanyl poisoning, and he was 13.
Yeah, and I think I was telling the story of him throwing his first birthday toy drive at 5. The kid embodied everything good for me in the world. I raised him believing that one person can make an absolute difference if they can just get people to help them. And he was a perfect example of that. And since he passed away, that's what I've been trying to do ever since. In awareness, I'm kind of a wild card. I don't fit in with any particular camp or subset of people, but I get along with everyone. It's kind of like high school. I was never in one popular crowd. I was in all of them, and it's a lot of the same with Luca. Everybody loved him. We did so much homeless outreach and stuff, and we would go into homeless camps and just take a pot of spaghetti and French bread and salad and a blanket and sit down and share a meal with them. He's like, Mom, we're not going to be those people that go and serve food out of the back of their truck. Let's go share a meal. And so, he was just really good with people like that. And people loved him. I never felt unsafe for 1 second around him. And we walked through some scary, scary situations helping people. But he was just so charismatic and so loving. And people just saw that about him. They really did. He was a cool dude. He was a really cool dude.
So if I can talk about Amanda, why don't you share the trip to DC where we met and what you feel the way was from that, and the committee, what we heard, what you feel still needs to be done, and what you've seen in 3 years from when you started today.
Well, I mean, it's been a long journey. It's been a really long journey. At first, I seriously, I was telling people when all of this first happened that fentanyl poisoning was going to far outweigh COVID. All this stuff. I was like, you guys are worried about COVID. Fentanyl is going to kill way more people. Like, and everyone sort of treated me like Chicken Little, running around screaming that the sky was falling just because I lost my son. And yeah, I lost my son, but that for me was a really clear indication of where things were going. So we started, and it was really hard to get anyone to even talk about fentanyl. The stigma behind people who die from any sort of drug-induced death or homicide is ridiculous, and people couldn't get past it. And so a lot of times they came to me with preconceived judgments about who I was or who I was as a parent because my child died of fentanyl poisoning. And I was a really great parent. I'm a behavioral therapist. I was a motivational speaker and a life coach and an end of life coach. I mean, all these fantastic things. I was a really good parent, and my son was getting all the help he needed. Truth be told, he was a 13-year-old kid. He had mouth pain because he had had a root canal a few days before, but even without the mouth pain, he was into modern music and all this stuff. So who's to say he wouldn't have just tried it to try it? And either way, he didn't deserve to die. So, back then it was just really, really hard to get anybody to listen. And it was really hard to get anybody working together on anything, because with fentanyl poisoning awareness and reduction, because they go hand in hand. Awareness goes with reduction, harm reduction, recovery, all of it. I started telling people, recovered people recover people. They're the unsung heroes in this whole thing, because they're reducing demand, and it's all about supply and demand. And, early on, we knew that a lot of the precursors were coming from the PRC, the People's Republic of China. And, a lot of us really suspected it. I can't say we knew, but we highly suspected it. And, we were being sort of confirmed here and there on it. But then going to DC and finding out that not only is it a real fact, that the PRC is funding fentanyl directly through subsidies and, everything else, but now our government knows about it. And it's disheartening that they would continue to do absolutely nothing at this point, when they know that the People's Republic of China is responsible for between 200 to 300 deaths on any given day. The number fluctuates on any given day, so I don't stick with one number. It's between 200 and 300 on any given day. That's a 747. But now I feel like we're sort of in a sweet spot to really get everyone in the country working together. Here we've been told over and over again by the DEA and all of these other organizations, to keep telling our stories, keep reaching out to the media, and keep working for awareness. But now we have proof that the government actually knows all of this for a fact. So I think we have a lot more power to stand together and hold them accountable for their act, because we can't do all the work alone. If they're going to require us to work, they need to mobilize us. They need to actually figure out a way to make us effective. If we're going to be told to work, don't abuse us, mobilize us. So what are we going to do next?
So do you feel that maybe, and I'm just speaking in general, because I keep having an echo, so I apologize. Do you feel that maybe what's happening is something to the effect that maybe they don't want to help us because they know that doing it.
Because they know what? I'm sorry.
All right. It's some kind of echo and trying to find out where it's coming from.
Is it me?
Amanda, it's not you. It's it may be Paula's end. She may have like 2 tabs open, like on her browser, that are attached to this live podcast. So she has to click one of them off, or something's on her phone that like she may be listening through her phone. And usually when you have a phone and you're on a live thing, you want to kind of turn that off and then look at the podcast later, on Facebook or something, because but I think she has 2 tabs open. She's probably fixing it now, because we don't hear that echo now. See, I don't hear it now.
Yeah, I don't hear it either.
Yeah, and usually what I do is I try to mute myself and then listen and see if I hear that echo. And but that's a great story, and I really want to have you come on the Really Charlie podcast, which is something I do every Tuesday night, and I'm part of an internet radio, which is on the top there with WNBOne Radio, and we're on every Tuesday. And I would just pretty much do the same thing I'm doing now. Send you a link through Messenger on Facebook, and then you would just come on live. Actually, it's different now because we have a new setup. So I would be able to send you something, and then and just get you on. That story, your son's story, has to be shared and broadcasted all over the place, because you know what, you're not the only one that's going through this. And in this city that we live in, there's so many moms that are going through so much, and dads, maybe even grandmothers. So
siblings, the whole,
yeah,
when one person is affected by either substance use or fentanyl poisoning, the whole family suffers. It's a cascading problem. One thing I did want to go over today, on the 21st, if anybody is going to be out in California, we are going to be marching against Snapchat at their headquarters, to represent all the folks that have lost children and loved ones through Snapchat's platform. So we're getting all dressed up and showing out. So if anybody is in California, we're meeting at Clover Park, 11 o'clock.
And what date is that?
On the 21st.
21st. All right, good. We have a following in California, so both on. Whoops. I don't know if you can hear that noise in the background, but I have a family full at a house, and the house is all full with grandchildren.
Oh no. Did I just lose your sound? Oh.
No, I'm just muting it. It's really crazy down there. I have a good following in California, and so hopefully everyone's hearing and seeing this. If you do have a flyer or anything that you're doing something, you can try to send it to me. I could definitely share it to the following I have in California.
Absolutely. I'll get it over to Paula too.
Okay, good. That'll be perfect. I don't know what's going on with Paula. She's usually quick, and what we'll do, Amanda, is we're actually gonna. Let me see. I have a comment I want to check out, and here she is. I think. And here's another supporter right here, Christy. She's down in Florida, and she goes through a lot herself, and so I try to support her every day, and she's on the podcast every week supporting us. So, but Christy,
I'll be down in Fort Myers here coming up in a couple of weeks.
oh wow,
Love me some Florida.
Yeah, that's good. Is business or pleasure?
No, actually, before when I first got into awareness, I decided that I wanted to meet other victims' families,
Mm-hmm.
and I developed a really great friendship with this woman, Jennifer, that's from the area, and she's going through some stuff and could use a little help and a little family time. So, she actually prompted me to go to all 48 states. I went to all 48 contiguous, meeting fentanyl victims' families in every state, and speaking at colleges and events and different things going on around the country. So I wanted to better understand my demographics.
Yeah.
Right? If we're gonna be fighting this big bad scary thing, then we need to understand how to talk to everybody, and because it requires so many different approaches. Nobody's right and nobody's wrong, because there's a voice that's going to reach somebody somewhere.
Yeah.
Even the crazies are perfect. I don't care what somebody's message is, as long as they're saying that fentanyl is dangerous and don't use drugs alone. Like, keep Narcan on hand. As long as they're saying those things, I don't care what the rest of the message is.
Exactly. Yeah, Christy said that's awesome. And yeah, maybe you guys, if you both have social media, Facebook, Christy, please reach out to Amanda Faith, and maybe you guys can share some stories, because I've definitely heard them from Christy, and Amanda. I think she may be exactly what you were talking about, traveling state to state. I'm hoping that this city, this town, in this country becomes a little bit better and receptive towards all the dangers, all the stories that you are saying. Christy's telling me, Paula has explained to me. I just hope that the empathy comes a little bit concerning, and especially from the powers to be, that are making all these laws and regulations.
Empathy, honey. That's the one thing. That's the one thing that starts from right here. That starts from opening the door for the old lady at the gas station. That starts with letting somebody know that their tire's about to go flat. That starts with every single thing. Fentanyl poisoning awareness honestly starts with treating everybody a whole lot kinder than we've been doing. We have lost ourselves as a society, and that's adding to the problem, because everybody sees themselves as the main character, the most important person. And when you think you're the most important person, you don't think the bad stuff can happen.
Exactly.
And you're incredibly unsafe if you don't think that the scariest thing can happen to
you. Yeah. Amanda, Christy's asking, she needs info from you. How could she reach you? She's a good friend of mine. So
you can either find me on Facebook. I'm literally under Amanda Faith. There's nothing else on there. Or you can email me at posogrl@gmail.com.
Okay, good. All right.
I'll put it in the chat too.
Okay. Paul is saying that sorry, her camera and mic is not working. Okay. Well, I think I better get to Paula's house. sooner than later. I got to get there before the next podcast. So we're going to try to make sure that her equipment is working properly.
Yeah, my computer wouldn't come back on with the sound or the anything. It was working fine, and then I just froze up, so I had to switch over to my phone.
All right. Well, believe it or not, it comes. You were kind of flickering in and out. So your phone is actually working better for this.
Huh? Well, that's great.
Yeah. So I want to thank you. I really do. I'm going to try to put this on Spotify within the next 12 hours. So we'll be on Spotify, along with YouTube on the Really Charlie channel. You'll be there, and I'll touch base with Christy, and I'm also going to try to add you on my Facebook page, so you and I can follow each other, especially the advocacy that you're doing and all the different things that you're involved in. I would like to share that on this podcast.
I would like to share everybody else's as well. Any you have. That's the one way we can all help each other with awareness is by sharing each other's stuff, showing up.
Yeah.
Everybody knows me as the person who shows up now, and I'm glad.
Yeah.
So, if anything's going on around the country, let me know, and I'll get it out to people I know there, because I know people everywhere.
That's it. You and me both.
Work? You gotta just network the heck out of awareness. That's and now, like I was telling Paula about, after going to the China Select hearing and all of that, like now I have so much hope, because where we all felt like our voices were silent and everything else, and we felt like we were the conspiracy theorists if we believed any of the stuff or any of that, and now we know that it's true, and now I think we have a much better platform to get everyone standing together against our own government to take action.
Yeah, they need to.
We got to force their hands. They don't want to because there's too much money involved, but we're going to force them.
It's a real delicate election year, and people have to, the politicians, hopefully they kind of get hopefully they have a fire under their butt, that they need to kind of dot their I's, cross their T's when it comes to all kinds of issues, including this one, because it may cost them an election.
I want to hear them talking about it. I want to. That's one thing we can all do from everywhere in the country right now is reach out to the media everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's your city council.
Yeah.
People running for city council. Ask them how they feel about fentanyl. What's your plan for our city to move forward with harm reduction?
Yeah.
From our local governments all the way up, every single thing counts. It all counts. It seems so insurmountable. The problem just seems so big that people get disheartened. But now we have real proof that they know.
I'm going to tell you a real trick that I use. For instance, I will get, I'll take your name, Amanda Faith, and put it in Google, and then put and fentanyl. And everything you talked about it, whether it's that or opioids, it will come up. So what I do is I do that with politicians. So everything that they've publicly announced or got written about them will come up. And then I basically just tell them, well, I have you talking about it once, and that's good, but let's talk about it some more. Or I have
that was in April of 2021. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but that's a trick I use, and the one thing I like about this night is your story about your son, and I really want to kind of share that. And secondly is that I finally connected someone with Christy, and that's you. And I think that you would be the greatest person for her right now.
Good.
So I hope you guys connect. And well, now you have a new friend. We only been friends for an hour, but I'm already impressed with you, and you get 5 stars already. So,
Thank you.
all right. All right, Amanda, what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this podcast, but I really want you to close it with something special that you want to say. And if you didn't already, but or just basically you want anybody to reach out to you, just give them your contact info.
All right.
Let's see. I'm going to search and find you on Facebook as soon as we get done. And if you want the MP4 of this, just let me know and I'll send it to you. But it will be on Facebook and YouTube. All right.
All right.
Amanda, you're a delight. You're a pleasure. Keep strong. And if at any point you're feeling weak, anything whatsoever, that number on that screen right there, you can get me directly. That's my Google number for the podcast. But we'll be in touch on Facebook. So reach out to me. Anything you want me to do, anything you want me to blast off, because I like to have flash podcasts. So if you give me news and I gotta put it out there, I'll do it.
Perfect.
So all
Perfect.
right.
Good to know. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Enjoy that sunny weather out there in California. And
it's pretty overcast right now. You'd be surprised.
I'll be out there in August. I'll be in the Bay Area in August. So
I'll end by firstly thanking you for your time. Thanks for having me. A quick reminder for everybody in California, on May 21st, we are meeting at Clover Park to go march in front of the Snapchat headquarters under the title Mo Snap, More Problems. If you have pictures of your victims, please bring them and be prepared to speak with the media. And in the meantime, just keep working together, loving your neighbor as much or more than you love yourself, and being good humans.
Yes, it's and on that note, wait, hold on 1 second here. See if I can reach it. This book right here is written by someone in California. It's called The Game, and it's written by Marilee of Solana. And she talks about love, just like you just mentioned it. And this book is amazing, and it kind of puts people in that frame, in that mindset, to just love.
You can only combat darkness by turning on a light.
Yeah,
that's all you can do, and each one of us can flip a switch. Yeah. Every single one of us has the ability, so just keep flipping switches.
Exactly. Well, Paula's here, but we're gonna say goodnight to you, Paula, because you
listen. I literally had to go on YouTube to figure out what the freak was wrong and watch a whole tutorial on how to fix this thing, okay? Because you do understand you're dealing with someone who knows nothing about technology.
Wow.
So I had to watch a whole thing on how to fix this. That's why it took so long.
Whenever I have technological difficulties, I just start laughing because Luca did all my tech stuff.
Yeah, maybe he's messing it up for you, and just to kind of
like, you little turd, knock it off.
yeah.
Absolutely. So I know that I missed it, so I apologize, but I'm glad that you guys were able to talk, and I know that some folks in the audience had questions and live, and I think one of the biggest things that to take away from all of this that we do weekly here is we want people to understand, the crisis that is currently happening. We want people to understand the severity of it. We don't want you to think that this is something that, because I heard it said the other day by someone, do you think that maybe fentanyl is just getting so saturated that people are they don't want to hear about it? Well, you know what? I don't care, because it's killing people. It is innocently killing innocent people, whether you want to hear it or not. It is not going to stop. We are not going to stop the cartels, but parents like myself, Amanda, and others are going to do everything physically possible to make sure it doesn't happen to your loved ones or your child. And don't give me this BS like I heard 2 weeks ago in Western Massachusetts, not my kid. Stupid thing to be saying. You can't say not my kid, not my town anymore. It just doesn't work.
Exactly.
Exactly. And we're not trying to be, I was on a meeting today and someone said, well, Paula, you can't use scare tactics. No, we have to use scare tactics because if you go to the street, you're not coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlie, being a retired police officer, this better than anybody.
Yeah, sometimes people, the only way they're going to learn is through experience. And we try not to make them, we don't want them to go through that experience, right?
It's learning through experience. Since so many people actually do learn this way, one thing I've started doing when I'm talking to schools and things like that is I'm not preaching abstinence anymore. Mm-hmm. Just say no never did anybody any damn favors. Across our entire country, our war on drugs was a completely disrespectful way to make money off of people for something that they were perpetuating to begin with. Exactly. So I teach something called safer use practices now. So I will go into a classroom and I tell kids, do not use alone. There is a safer use hotline. It's a national hotline. I provide them with this number. I can provide it to you guys afterwards. You can call this number or even text this number. And if you do not get a hold of them within a certain amount of time, they call emergency services to your home. So there's no excuse for using alone. Never ever using alone. Understanding the Good Samaritan law. Using Narcan or calling the police in a drug-related emergency, you're not going to get in trouble.
Exactly.
Teaching Narcan use. I mean, I dose myself with Narcan in my classes for shock value. It's completely innocuous to anyone who is not suffering overdose. And even then, all it does is open the receptors so that they can actually breathe. Yeah. So those are the things I like to get out there whenever I'm talking. So there we go. I had my.
I love it. That's just another connection, another advocate point. It's because there are someone that I guarantee you, there's someone here that could use that safer, the safe number, and that's very important. In fact, I'll try to add that so I can use it on the ticker line on the bottom. I'm gonna add that.
It's called Never Use Alone. You can Google it under Never Use Alone. Yeah.
Okay.
And it shows a big life ring in the graphic and all that stuff. I wish I had it to throw it up, but not easily available. So
I'm trying to find it right now.
And then testing kits. A lot of people talk about testing kits, and I believe testing is phenomenal. However, on the testing kits, often it says to test a portion of your substance or break off a piece of a tablet. That's completely incorrect. The entire tablet or substance has to be tested, because any other given part of that tablet could contain a lethal dose of fentanyl. So it's to be completely hydrated, tested, and then dehydrated. So people using drugs, you're going to need to take a little bit of extra time to appropriately test your substances.
Very nice.
And I think the other thing too, Amanda, that one thing I talked about earlier when you were trying to get back on is I was letting people know, because we had somebody on here who's actually a paramedic and is talking to kids and stuff about Narcan, is that unfortunately the cartels are amping up their game, so to speak, to where it's now carfentanil and then the other factors that are coming in with fentanyl, that Narcan's not working.
And that's going to be something that we increasingly see, unfortunately, because it's not just fentanyl analogs coming in. There are all sorts of synthetic opioids and synthetic mechanisms coming in, and a lot of them we're starting to find that they're not and react. So it's really super scary. We've got a very small window to get a lot of folks recovered. And that starts with loving everybody enough to get rid of the stigma. Really, it just all comes back down to, like I said before, love. You know, you really have to share it more than ever.
So true. All right, ladies. You've definitely been a great podcast guest and host. You know, Paula, you I know you were hungry. You were eating popcorn while you were off the air. It's definitely, we already know, you know. Amanda, I just want to tell you, she goes off the screen. It's usually because of the popcorn. All right, I love you too, and you have a friend for life, and you know, you need anything from me, let me know, and I'm gonna request Amanda Faith on my Facebook so I can have a little bit more friendships, more advocacy, more events to put on our fentanyl facts and stories page that we have on Facebook. I really want to put some traffic on that, you know, and along with the Really Charlie podcast. So,
and we're trying to get Amanda here to Massachusetts for the basketball tournament that's coming up through Achieve Greatness, as everybody knows. Charlie, I think I sent you the flyer on that. For August 17th, Saturday at Burgo Basketball, which everybody here knows where Burgo Basketball is. First annual basketball memorial tournament in Andrew's name. And we're hoping that we have a really good turnout. And I'm hoping to have some of my angel parents who have said that they're going to come in for this, so that would be nice.
That would be nice. I can't wait for all those different things. I really this summer is going to be quite busy for me. With a lot of different things, and but Achieve Greatness 88 is definitely going to be top of my list. I really want to make sure that I'm getting out there and kind of do those live podcasts on the spot right off my phone, you know, and start doing that where we can kind of hear for some people and get those actual feelings and about this dangerous drug. So, Amanda, high five. Paula, high five. Electronic hugs for both of you, and we will be talking soon. I'm going to keep in touch with you on a weekly basis, Amanda, just to see what you're doing, and if I'm trolling your page, don't mind it. You know, I'm gonna steal things like I steal off Paula's page. All right.
There's no theft. It's a public page. You're good.
All right. All right, my friends. I will see you. Feel free. Hey, and Amanda, you could be a co-host on here anytime, man. So if you see us on in the comments section, just say invite me, and then I'll invite you.
All right.
All right.
Amanda might want to be on next Wednesday when I'm going to have Jim Rawl on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm ready. Whatever we can have 4 people on this. Easy. Piece of cake.
Oh, he'll take over the whole thing. You don't understand, but that's okay.
It's all right. He takes over. Don't worry about it.
I was going to say, I don't mind coming in to listen to Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
We love Jim. Jim is amazing. We love him.
All right. I'll take your word for it.
Have a good night. Everyone,
Very
thank you
good.
for joining us tonight. Amanda, thank you so much for joining us all the way from sunny California. I know that's a song.
There's a lot.
There's so many songs. There's a lot of songwriters in California, or would
Mm.
be people that want to get to California.
Yes.
Makes me want to go put a flower in my hair.
Yeah,
There you go. See?
that's it. Flower in your hair. Go to Catalina, Catalina Island, and hang out over there. So,
Yes.
all
All
right,
right,
guys.
everyone.
All right, kids.
Take
Thank you
care.
so much. Thank you,
Have a
Amanda.
great day. All right. Awesome show. Awesome show. Very proud of that. That was great. And everyone out there that has joined us, I appreciate you on YouTube, on Facebook, and also don't forget about WNBOne Radio, my favorite radio station. I'm on there every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, playing some R&B music or inviting a guest on the show, and we talk about whatever we have to highlight them, whether it's if they're an author, a community advocate, community leader, anything, a pastor, priest, anything. Anything, street person. I put everybody on my podcast just to highlight them to hear their story. So that's WNB1.com. Go to WNB1.com. I can't say it enough. WNB1.com. And check out the hip hop music, some R&B music, and also the podcast, the shows that we have from the Really Charlie podcast. Frequently Live, Luxury Tax. We have Straight to the Point, Sports Talk on Thursday. That's tomorrow. My favorite sports talk show. I will definitely hear them at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. So that's WNB1.com. Feel free to join us. There's the logo just above my head. And I'll talk to you later. And also Achieve Greatness 88.org. Check it out. And I'll see you next Wednesday with Paula and myself talking facts, fentanyl facts and stories. All right, y'all. Take care and God bless.